Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Another beautiful day in paradise. It's about 77 degrees in the Caribbean, but I have some sad news for you my friends. Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, and Ruto, the president of Kenya, has been ranked the most corrupt leaders worldwide. Ruto came in number 2 and Tinubu came in number 3 in the world's leaders in terms of corruption, ranked in the top 3 in terms of corruption worldwide. And this survey was carried out by an organization led by journalists, my friends. So the journalists around the world, they normally put their data together and they rank leaders in terms of their corruption. And sadly, the president of Kenya and the president of Nigeria, Ruto and Tinubu, has been ranked in the top 3 most corrupt leaders worldwide. And have a listen to this audio presentation, my friends, by have a listen to this.
And with the onset of the new year, you must have come across various listicles reflecting on the goods and bads of the past year. One such list was also published on World Leaders to rank the most corrupt one in the year of 2024. 2 African leaders have made it to the top 3 on the list of the most corrupt leaders of 2024. The 2 are Kenyan President William Ruto and Nigerian President Bola Tinubu. The world leaders were ranked by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, or the OCCRP. Now, the global network of investigative journalists that specializes in organized crime and corruption. Ruto and Tinubu were the finalists for the OCCRP's Person of the Year award. The top ranked, that is the most corrupt leaders title, was given to former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Kenya's William Ruto was placed 2nd, and Nigeria's Bola Tinubu was secured the 3rd spot. Though Bashar al-Assad was ranked number 1, he did not receive the most number of votes. It was the Kenyan president. An unprecedented number of people, more than 40,000, wrote in to nominate William Ruto for Person of the Year in organized crime and corruption. But the Syrian president Bashar al-Assad had the jury's vote, so they placed Ruto in 2nd position. Now, the Ruto government in Kenya has been accused of greed and corruption, resulting in failures in economic policy, health, education, and political instability. Kenya saw a wave of protests last year that began against a controversial finance bill involving tax hikes. The demonstration snowballed into a wider movement against the Ruto government. The youth-led rallies demanded an end to economic woes and corruption, and also for Ruto to resign. The government's response was swift and brutal, with security forces deploying tear gas, water cannons, and live ammunition, leading to numerous injuries, deaths, and disappearances. A fresh protest has now begun in Kenya against the abduction of government critics. Inspired by the rallies in East Africa's Kenya, youth in West Africa's Nigeria also marched against the Tinubu administration last year. The protests were dubbed End to Poor Governance, calling out the government graft. At the center of these protests were his controversial economic reforms, which included removing decades-long costly fuel subsidy to save money. Tinubu claimed that these reforms would fix the economy. However, it further burdened Nigerians with skyrocketing inflation and fuel scarcity. The Nigerian President Tinubu has been accused of amassing enormous wealth for himself and his family. He has also faced scrutiny for being a drug dealer in the US in the past. He was also rocked by allegations of certificate forgery shortly after he was inaugurated as the president in 2023. Now, during his presidency, he has faced backlash over his economic policies. Similarly, Kenyan President Ruto has also faced suspension for graft in the past while serving as a minister. As per reports, in the first 6 months of his presidency, he spent more than $11 million on receptions, parties, and other hospitality supplies. Tinubu is also accused of prioritizing his personal luxuries over the welfare of the Nigerian people. Both leaders frequent foreign trips and have come under the spotlight. In fact, they are both known as Africa's flying presidents, as carried on with their foreign visits in luxurious jets while people in their countries suffered under tough economic conditions. So while public outrage grows against them, such reports are only making things worse for the leaders of the two big African economies.
There you had it, my friends. Tinubu and Ruto ranked among the world's most corrupt leaders. Assad of Syria ranked number 1, Ruto of Kenya ranked number 2, and Tinubu of Nigeria ranked number 3. The most corrupt leaders. This is serious, my friends, because we would have seen what happened last year. I was in Kenya when they had the protests last year. Thousands of young people, Generation Z, stormed the parliament and burnt it. And they were able to stop a finance bill that was being proposed by the president of Kenya, Ruto. And the bill was actually already passed. They wanted to tax everything: milk, diapers, M-Pesa, mobile money, border taxes, everything they wanted to tax in Kenya to pay for corruption. They are corrupt to pay for the monies they spent in the country and overspent in terms of corruption. They wanted to tax the people because of that. So the youth said, no, we're going to stop this bill. The bill was passed by parliament, but then the president refused to sign the bill because of massive protests. So Generation Z were the heroes in Kenya. And then we saw last year when Tinubu was the leader of ECOWAS, when he wanted to invade the AES, Sahel states of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Remember when Niger overthrown Bazoum, the puppet president for France, that was controlling Nigeria, that he was overthrown by Niger, the army of Niger. And then shortly after, Tinubu came out with a speech to say they're going to invade. Apparently, Europe and America wanted ECOWAS to invade Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. They expel them, they suspend them from ECOWAS, close the borders. They wanted to starve them there, and they was going to invade them if they don't return the government of Niger back to France and reinstall Bazoum, which was a puppet leader in Niger being controlled by France. But Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali said, no, we're going to stand our grounds. We're not going to go back to that puppet French leader. We're going to run our own affairs. And they decided to come together, and they say anytime anybody attack either Niger, Burkina Faso, or Mali, all of us are going to fight you. And that is when they backed off. So I agree with this report. Tinubu and Ruto, the evidence has shown tremendous corruption in government. They're being controlled by the West too much, and the journalists, the organization of journalists would have found them to be extremely corrupt, and that is why the people are tired of them, my friends. People are tired of corruption. We see what is happening. I see some news coming out that Trudeau in Canada will be resigning soon. He will not run again to become president. And also some breaking news that the president of Trinidad and Tobago will not contest another election in the country. He has been running for 45 years. He has been in politics, and he will not be contesting any more election in that country. I previously did a story about the state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago right now, caused by the amount of guns in the country sent by a lot of US guns coming into Trinidad and Tobago that are used for crime and violence. Some people comment and said some are coming from Venezuela, but I think Venezuela get guns from the US as well. It's all corruption, my friends. So those two presidents of Canada, Prime Minister of Canada and the President of Trinidad and Tobago, will not contest another election. I did a video on Trudeau, President of Canada, the corruption in terms of visas that he's implementing, strict visa policies to keep out Africans and Caribbean people. I did a video on that some months ago, and I previously did a video about the state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago. But the topic for today, my friends, is corruption. In order for us to come together as a people, we need to cut corruption. We cannot have African leaders being so corrupt. We cannot have Caribbean leaders being so corrupt, because they're going to enrich their families and friends and leave the masses poor. I was in Kenya for about 3 months, so I can tell you the government, they're not doing anything for their people. You see a handful, you see the friends and the families and the government officials, they're very wealthy. But then you go in the outskirts and in the villages, the people are very poor. Lack of government services in Kenya and Nigeria. I've never been to Nigeria, but I assume it's the same. Lack of services. Lots of places in Nigeria you have dirt roads. How could you be producing so much oil and have so much money, and you have dirt roads in beautiful areas where people live? The homes, beautiful homes, but you look outside, you see the dirt roads that people have to drive the expensive cars on. That's corruption. A lot of these road projects are not carried out because of corruption. I was in Uganda for a month, and I was told sometimes the government allocate money to do the roads, but by the time the money reach government officials, they thief the money. Or let me talk more formal, they steal the money before the money reach the project. So the money has been allocated to do the roads, and before the money can be spent, government officials steal the money. I was told that is happening in Uganda, and I'm sure it is happening in other African countries like Kenya and Nigeria. Corruption. This report was found Tinubu and Ruto to be in the top 3 most corrupt leaders worldwide. This was found by journalists around the world. They put their evidence together, and based on the evidence that they've seen, based on the evidence that we would have saw on the ground, you saw the protests in Nigeria, not Nigeria, the protests earlier last year in Kenya, last year summer around that time, and you see the youths continue to complain about the corruption in Nigeria, my friends, and this needs to stop. The mission of my channel is to bridge the gap between the continent of Africa and the African diaspora, which includes the Caribbean, African Americans, South America, and Europe, my friends. We have Africans there living in Europe as well. Lots of them in the Caribbean, in the diaspora. We call the diaspora African Americans, Africans in Canada. We want to bridge the gap between all African people worldwide. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Please consider subscribing, like this video, share it with all your friends and family. Let me know what you think about this video topic, comment your thoughts and opinion, and let's have a wonderful interaction here today, my friends. And let us cut the corruption in Kenya, in Nigeria, and throughout Africa and the Caribbean, my friends, because in the Caribbean we have corruption here as well. We need to cut that as well. Probably that group of journalists need to come into the Caribbean and do some investigation. I'm sure you'll find lots of corruption here in the Caribbean as well. But I am told in Kenya and Nigeria has been ranked in the top 3 most corrupt nations worldwide. Thank you for watching this video, my friends. Let me know what you think about this topic, and of course I will see you again in the next video. My name is Bjorn. The name of this channel is Bjorn Uncut, where we bring to you uncut, unedited videos, my friends. Let us bridge the gap between the African continent and the African diaspora. That is the mission of this channel, now and forever. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye.